Hi everyone, this is Margaret Manning with 60 and Me. This is the place where women over 60 come to be inspired. My guest today is Mark Smith. Mark is passionate about trains. He is an ex-train man who loved trains so much he decided to start an amazing website called seat61.com. And we've got some questions for you, Mark. Welcome.
Hello.
Mark, it's really great to have you here. As you know, 60 and Me is a community of about 100,000 women over 60, and a lot of travelers. We get maybe going through retirement or having some time to tick off that bucket list of travel journeys, and trains are becoming more attractive, less hassle, just more fun. So I'd like to ask you though, because a lot of women are on a budget, how you would advise people to go about looking for either senior discounts or cheap tickets?
Well, the good news is that one thing that trains have taken, a leaf they've taken out of the airlines book, is there are now really cheap advance purchase tickets if you book in advance. Okay. The only catch is you need to know exactly which website to go to for which route. Because unfortunately, we're not the United States of Europe yet. Every country is different. Yes. Every country's got its own train network with its own website and its own fares and tickets. So that's the only real issue. But if you know where to look, for example, the best rule of thumb is to Google for the national rail operator in the country where your journey starts. Doesn't always work, but that's a good rule of thumb. Okay. So if you were going from Budapest to Vienna, you Google for Hungarian railways, and on their website you can book a ticket from Budapest to Vienna from just €13, which is just over $20 US, something like that. Yeah. If you were going from Prague to Vienna, you Google for Czech railways, cd.cz is their website, and they sell tickets from Prague to Vienna for just €19, which is $25 US, and you print them out on your own PC printer. So if you know your dates, and you can book, you don't need to book 6 months in advance. Usually booking only opens 2 or 3 months ahead. Mm-hmm. So 2 or 3 months ahead, go online, direct to the operator, and you'll find some absolutely amazing offers if you're happy to commit to a particular train and a particular date.
And if people have got any questions about, what trains go between what cities, your website is amazing. Seat61.com. I used it when I was planning a trip this summer just to see, what there was between Berlin and Warsaw and what my options were. And so I would definitely recommend your site as well. But what about discounted tickets for seniors? I mean, what would your advice be? Should you wait maybe and get to the country and try to find a cheaper ticket, or you still...
Well, some countries do cheap tickets for seniors, but it's usually a discount off the expensive full fare, the fare that you pay at the station if you're there. And it's still often much cheaper to get one of the advanced purchase tickets that are available to anyone. In fact, I've come across a little trap on certain websites where you've got a fare structure. Let's say there's a €100 fare if you just turn up and want a full flex ticket at the station. There might be a senior fare for €80 and advanced purchase tickets of 50, 40, €30 that are actually available for anyone. Mm-hmm. There are some websites that aren't bright enough to realise that if you say you're a senior and want a senior ticket, you'd actually quite like one of the €20 tickets, but it'll just tell you about the €80 ticket because you said you want a senior fare. So I'd watch out for that actually, and just make sure that you're looking up all the tickets, not just the senior fares.
So what about rail passes? Is that a cheaper way to go in Europe?
Well,
anywhere, really?
There's a common misconception that rail passes save money. They might save money against the expensive full price that you pay at the station. If you needed total flexibility. What they usually don't do is save money against the advance purchase tickets that you can buy in advance direct from the rail operator. So the thing is, if you know your dates, you've got your accommodation booked, you simply want transportation and are happy committing to a specific date and train, do the advance purchase thing, just as you would with a budget airline. Go online, find a cheap ticket and print it out. Where rail passes are useful is if you're going to do lots of train travel, you don't want to book in advance, you want to be free and easy, you really want the freedom to be able to explore. It'll cost you more than the cheap advance purchase tickets, but you're getting unlimited travel. You don't need to decide in advance. You can get up in the morning and suddenly decide, I'm going to go there today. Or you can decide, I like this place. I'm going to stay a bit longer and then go somewhere else. It's up to you. So for freedom, rail pass. For cheapness, book those advance purchase tickets.
Okay, that's actually really good advice. I actually just booked a ticket a couple of weeks ago to England from Switzerland, and I had put it off because it was so expensive. And even the Eurostar that takes you from Paris to London was outrageous. But I got an advance ticket, and it was half the price. Seriously, half the price of what I normally would pay because they had special advanced tickets. So I think that's excellent advice. But what about a lot of our women live in the States? What experience have you had with Amtrak? Same
Well, I
advice?
absolutely love Amtrak, I have to say.
Really? Oh,
As a
good.
Brit, I come to the States, I want to travel around. I don't want to hire a car all the time. I don't want to fly over the country I'm trying to see.
Exactly.
So I've actually ended up crossing the States 6 times on
Oh,
Amtrak
wow.
via various different routes. And last time we actually crossed the Atlantic by sea, sailed into New York Harbor, and we took the train all the way from New York to Chicago and to San Francisco on what I think is the best Amtrak train there is, the California Zephyr. And to Europeanize these 16-foot high, gleaming stainless steel superliner cars that Amtrak's got,
Yes.
we've got nothing like that. And there are diners that do quite a nice New York strip steak, observation cars where you sit in a lounge on the top deck and look at the amazing Nebraska or Utah or Colorado scenery. That train certainly can't be beat, the California Zephyr. If you've got a chance, I don't understand why Americans aren't queuing up round the block at New York to take a weekend and cross their own country. It's 3,000 miles. You can do it from as little as $237, I think, if you book in advance.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you're a proponent or a supporter of Amtrak because a lot of women in the States, I think, do have a stereotype about Amtrak. It's sort of considered to be more like just a bus on rails. And there's just this, I guess maybe it's about the United States mentality of having a car, which we talked about in the community, quite a bit.
Well, a car's great if I've driven Route 66.
Yeah.
That's absolutely great. But I don't think I'd want to do 3,000 miles in 3 days in a car. I think I'd be worn out. It's so much more relaxing on a train with a dining car, observation car, and even some sleepers with ensuite toilet and shower. You certainly don't see that on a bus.
That is very cool. So, what's the best meal you've ever had on a train? I'm just curious. You seem to put a very high
Oh.
priority on the restaurant car.
Well, it's nice eating as you travel along. Well, the best meal, of course, was on one of the most expensive trains you can take, the Venice Simplon Orient Express.
Oh, yes.
It's a tourist train that's been created from vintage wood-panelled wagon-lit from the 1920s and elegant dining cars with the Lalique decor from the 1920s. It's absolutely fabulous. It runs from London to Paris to Venice, and I must admit, I didn't think any 24-hour train journey could possibly be worth £2,000. I took it some 13 years ago now, and ended up proposing to my girlfriend, nothing pre-planned, somewhere in the Brenner Pass. In fact, I didn't even know whether it was Italy or Austria at that point. Yes, I'm not even sure who said what to whom, but we left Innsbruck as single people, and we arrived in Verona engaged. And here I am, 13 years on, with a wife, 2 kids, 2 cats, and a large mortgage. So I got more than I bargained for on that trip.
You shouldn't have drunk the champagne, Mark. You should have just, was it not today?
I blame it on the champagne, yes.
That is wonderful. Well, congratulations on all of that, because I mean, and for people that have not visited Mark's site, seat61.com, you'll find his personality, which I'm sure you're enjoying, beaming through on this website. You're full of great ideas and sense of humor, and I just wish I met people like you on trains. I mean, maybe it's just do you meet people, a lot of friends, and is that part of your
Absolutely.
fun?
It's one of the nice things about trains.
Yeah.
There's room for people to interact on a train.
Yes, yeah.
Now, movie directors and novelists and things know about this, which is why they set all their romances and thrillers and what have you on trains. The only thing you seem to get on airlines is disaster movies. But yeah, there's room to interact. You get talking. Sometimes you can keep yourself to yourself and chill out. Other times you get talking, and you do meet some really quite interesting people on some of the journeys that I've made. It's one of the nice things about train travel.
Well, I agree with you. Actually, I was on a train to Hamburg this summer, and I went in and sat down, and this little lady got on with her walker, and the gentleman, the guard, was helping her. He was so sweet, like helping her up the stairs with her walker, and she sat next to me in the chair opposite, and we were just looking at each other. I don't speak German, so I was kind of but anyway, I got out my knitting. And I looked over and she was knitting. And it's like, oh, how cool is that? They were both knitting. And then by the end of the train, we were like comparing notes and patterns. She was wonderful. And it must have been in her 90s. She was very, very sweet. So, yeah, trains are great. Anyway, all right, Mark. Well, I think you've given us a really good idea how to approach the benefits and cons of advanced booking and also the what you feel about passes and just specific senior passes. And is there anything else we've missed? Anything I should know about? Any other tips on senior travel budgeting? I guess take your own wine on board would be one.
Absolutely, definitely. Choose a nice bottle.
Thanks, Mark. Really great talking to you. Thank you again.